For most of us in this room, we have either started families of our own or hope to one day settle down and start a family with a spouse, children, and of course, a lovable pet. But take a moment and imagine this is your family in the future. You and your spouse, 2 children, and the arrival of a newborn baby. Now you two feel like you got the gist of parenting, figure out which parenting style works best for you because you have already raised 2 healthy children. However, several months after the arrival of your newborn, you start to notice his eyes rolling in a way that alarms your motherly or fatherly instincts that you call to your child's physician to just hear nothing is wrong. After the course of several days, the condition starts to worsen, so you immediately rush him to the hospital. They take some tests, and after a few tests, the doctor walks out to the waiting room and calls you and your husband or spouse to come in and sit down just to break the news to you that your child has been diagnosed with cancer. When it comes to parenting, there is no book or step-by-step guide on how to raise children correctly. To raise a child with cancer, Andy had to invest a lot of time, understanding, and patience to ensure that the best for her son, Max, and the rest of her family. So reaching out to physicians and specialists and other families was one way that Andy had to change her course in how to parent her children. She reached out to her physician to get a better understanding of Max's medical history, and through that physician, he helped guide her to other specialists who could help her in knowledge of cancer, so her oncologists, doctors who helped when Max lost his vision, so his ophthalmologists, his ambulatory, because he's in a wheelchair now. This also directed her to family psychologists that helped with her emotional state, and other families just to bring her comfort, to make sure that she was doing okay, that she knows she wasn't the only one out there. She had to learn to understand the right medications to give Max at night. Anti-seizure medications had to be given every night to prevent any seizures from happening in his sleep, and the right amount had to be given. As the parent, she had to make sure that there was always an anti-seizure medication, so if she was finishing the amount that she had, then she would order a new prescription for Max, so when they did run out of one bottle, there was already a new pack there. And finally, she had to understand how all these different medications would tie into his other health problems. So if he's taking one medication for anti-seizures, she had to understand that it's not going to affect anything with his diabetes, his blindness, anything with a tumor. And having the right support system is my last point. As a parent, she had to be the strong one. She had to be there for her husband, for her children, for Max, for their education. She made the decision to come out to Hawaii to make sure that her family was always in a positive vibe. They're originally from Michigan, and coming out to Hawaii meant year-round of activities, going hiking, going to the beach, and she learned as a parent to be that backbone for her family, to keep them strong and keep them going through this rough time. Max has had cancer. So basically, Andy just had, as a parent, she had to learn on her own how to do what worked best for her family, making sure they were in the right environment. She was talking to the right people to get the right support emotionally, to help her husband, to help her children. And it basically shows that even though when you think you've figured out the way to something, especially parenting, it's going to be like a snowflake where there is no right or wrong, they're all going to be different.